Hello! Today I'm going to be doing my presentation on Mary Douglas. Mary Douglas was a British anthropologist. She was born March 25th, 1921 in San Remo, Italy, so tomorrow is her birthday. She studied at Oxford University in England. She taught for a while at University College of London, and she taught and wrote in a few places in the United States. In New York, in Princeton, she moved around. And she's known for her work on human culture and symbolism. She specialized in social anthropology. She did a lot of work, actually, in various fields of anthropology. She had a very influential book about economics, for example. And she also had a strong interest in comparative religion. The first exposure she had to field work was in 1949. She studied the Lele people, leading to her first publication, The Lele of Kasai. What she's most known for is her book Purity and Danger, in which she explores the differences between how different cultures view what is sacred and what is clean versus what's polluted, and how these concepts change not only through different societies, but in these societies throughout time. She relies really heavily on the anthropological perspective because her work concerns cultural relativism. This is the book I mentioned previously about her interest in economic anthropology, the world of goods, and it was considered very influential in the field of economic anthropology. So for the work that I want to focus on is her most well-known book, Purity and Danger, where she discusses ritual, purity, and pollution throughout time and in various societies. Mary Douglas was very heavily influenced by a French sociologist, Émile Durkheim, who established this concept called sacred contagion, which is the belief that spiritual properties within an object, place, or person can be passed to another place or person, usually by direct contact or physical proximity. Like religious people, the clergy, holy men, are considered to be more sacred because they are near things that are sacred. And both Douglas and Durkheim established that physical and spiritual cleanliness are completely separate and they have to be considered on their own terms. So the first part of her book is Purity, in which she talks about how human beings understand the world by dividing it into categories. So the idea that we have about what is pure versus what is impure don't have to do with hygiene as much as things being in the right or wrong place. If, say, this water bottle falls on the floor, it's not making the floor more unhygienic, but you would say the floor is dirty now because the water bottle is in the wrong place. For example, another example, if your rug is clean and some leaves blown through the window, your rug is now dirty because those leaves are in the wrong place. They're not supposed to be on your rug. So different societies make these different categories, and these categories change based on culture and on time. The second part of her book is Danger, in which she talks about how things that violate, not just things, but things and people that violate what the correct place is in the context of their own societies are viewed as dangerous. However, in many human societies, people who cross these limitations and violate these boundaries tend to have more power. Like in a lot of tribal societies, powerful people like medicine men or spirit communicators will often be people who cross-dress, whether it's women wearing men's clothes, men wearing women's clothes. If they are violating these boundaries of societies, they can more easily walk across these other boundaries and limitations in their work. The idea of cultural relativism is really important when reading Mary Douglas because it's what her concept is based on of how societies view purity versus pollution. For example, many societies have rites of passage for when a child transitions from the category of child into the category of adult. Like quinceañeras, bar mitzvahs mark a coming of age, and you have this kind of in-between stage at this point in which the person transitioning is wearing a different type of clothing. They might be in a new place physically, but they are marked as different because they're not right then in either box, they're in between. These distinctions differ from society to society and from different parts of society. Like we talked about how different societies have different categorizations for males versus females, or from rich people or poor people, or from what intelligence is versus unintelligence. And this cultural relativism applies to what Mary Douglas is saying about different societies determining different categories. These are her full works. I'm not going to go through them all because we don't have time, but if you do take a minute and read through her full work, you see a lot of variation. She did a lot of work. A lot of it was on symbolism and these ideas of purity, but you also have books on economics and thought and literature. Leviticus specifically was interesting to look at. She was an anthropologist who had a wide range of study. And that is my presentation. Thank you so much.